Okay, so you want to make a Udemy course, but you have no money, no equipment, and no experience. Well, as somebody who is literally in the exact same boat, I feel you. And as somebody who created a Udemy course in my living room, just using a phone, I feel like I can help. So let's go ahead and just get into let's say a beginner's guide of creating a Udemy course. So when it comes to making a course, there's four main components. You have the script, you have the filming, the editing, and the uploading. So let's go ahead. We're just going to start in the beginning with the script. So first things first, what do you want to talk about? It can be anything. Like Udemy has a course literally on everything, from art to business to crypto to coding to notary stuff. It doesn't really matter. And the thing is, you don't have to be an expert on anything. You need to be passionate about what you're talking about, and you generally need to know what you're talking about, but you don't need to be an expert. Every instructor is going to have their own opinion and their own preferences on how to actually do something. So don't stress yourself out if you feel like, well, what if people don't think I know? It doesn't matter. Trust me, I've taken a lot of courses on Udemy, and they're all so different, all right? And each one has its own value. So don't stress about that too much. So once you know what you want to talk about, now it's kind of time to make the script, right? So the way I like to do it is like an essay. You start with an outline. So you make an outline of what you generally want the course to flow like. And for me, the easiest way is just to write down every possible idea I have on a Google Doc. So don't make it make sense in the beginning. Just, okay, this would be cool to talk about. This would be, and I just list it all out first. If it helps, the way that Udemy breaks it down is when you're uploading, they have sections. And in each section, you have lectures. So think of the section as the general theme, overall theme, and the lecture are the videos that make up that section. So let's say that you want to make a video on how to ride a skateboard. Well, your first section is probably going to be the basics. So maybe lecture 1 in the basics is how to set up the board, and lecture 2 is how to stand on the board. And so you kind of just break it down like that. Just keep in mind, pretty much all of the courses are going to have multiple sections, and in each section is going to have multiple lectures. You can have one section with 6 lectures in it, or one section with 1 lecture in it. It doesn't matter, as long as it makes sense with the flow for you. One of the really good things is within each section, you actually don't have to just put lectures. You can put quizzes, you can put practice tests, you can do coding exercises, assignments, really whatever you want to put underneath each section. It doesn't just have to be lectures if you don't want it to be. Once you generally have your outline to your liking, so you have, the sections you want to have, under each section, the lectures that you're going to have or quizzes or whatever, now you can go in and actually fill it in. Up until this point, all you had was just the basic outline. So you can go under each lecture and kind of script out what exactly you want to talk about within each lecture. And everybody's a little bit different. Some people like to write word for word what they want to say on camera, and some just like the bullet points, and you kind of just fill in the space. What I've learned is that it's really hard to film when you're so focused on getting everything word for word. So if you're writing your script, I think bullet points can be better, just my opinion, because if you stumble over a line that you feel like you needed to memorize, it's going to mess it all up and you're going to have to refilm it. But if you just kind of let it flow naturally, then it makes it just a little bit easier. So a side note, instructors are actually asked to add one bonus lecture at the end of their course to promote and market their own business or services. So throughout the actual course, you're not allowed to just like publicize everything else that you have going on in the world, but you do get to do that on the last lecture of the course, where you can go ahead and promote everything that you have, including things like a YouTube channel. So you want to make sure that you write that into your script and maximize on that opportunity. So step 2 of making a course is filming. So boom, we're here at filming day, and it's really easy to feel overwhelmed when it comes to filming because it can be long depending on how long your course is. But honestly, the thing that should be the simplest is the equipment. It's really easy to think, okay, I need all this expensive equipment, yada, yada. You truly don't. All you need is the phone, you need decent lighting, you need a pretty non-distracting background, and you need a relatively quiet space. That's it. Now, if you're looking for like, okay, well, what device should I film on? Your modern smartphone is going to be just fine. I filmed my complete course on my iPhone. I filmed all my YouTube videos on my iPhone. Smartphones are great. So grab your smartphone, make sure it has battery and space. It'll be just fine to film. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it on your smartphone. You can do it the back-facing way, which you can do in 4K, and it's a lot clearer of a picture if you are staring at the back of the camera versus doing it kind of like in selfie mode. But not everybody likes that. So if you want to use the front-facing camera and you want to do it in selfie mode, not in 4K, but in 1080p or however you want to do it, that is totally fine, however you want to set up your phone. The most important thing to think about if you are going to use the front facing side of your camera to film, make sure you're looking into the camera, not looking at yourself, because it will not look right once you actually get onto the video. The next thing to think about when it comes to filming is the lighting. So if you are going to be showing your face in your course, which you don't have to, you could do just, an overlay of text with your voice in the background, or, animation with your voice in the background, however you want to do it. But if you are going to show your face, they need to be able to see you. And so that's where good lighting comes into play. You can either film in the daytime, like right now I'm sitting next to my window to get the light, or you can sit close to a lamp or use a ring light. It's really just up to you. And keep in mind, editing, which we'll talk about next, can help with some of the lighting issues. So if you find, once you're looking back at the video, that you're a little darker, maybe washed out than you want to be, you can always go ahead and just edit the picture to make it just look a little bit better for you when it comes to the final cut. So when it comes to which background you want to pick, you want a generally plain background, mainly because people have short attention spans, myself included, and the more you have going on behind you, the more it's going to take away from them actually focusing on you. I suggest a plain background, like a blank wall. I know I have Bear Me here in the corner, but otherwise a blank wall. And the good thing about a blank wall and a plain background is you can actually put text over it. And that just makes for a really cool editing visual effect once you're going back and actually editing the video. But if you don't have a plain background in your house, that's also totally fine. You can film at your desk, you can film at your kitchen counter, you can film on your couch, whatever you have at your disposal. It's really just going to depend on what you have available and what kind of video you are filming. So the last thing when it comes to filming is just making sure your students can hear you. Now, the mic that comes on your phone should be just fine, but it really just depends on how far away from your phone you're going to be when you film. Are you 1 feet away, 3 feet, 5 feet, 15 feet? It's going to make a difference on how much they can hear you. One thing I invest in is a small little lapel mic. This thing's like $15 and it makes a world of difference when it comes to actually just hearing you. But again, it's a luxury. You do not have to have these things. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you just want to make sure that there isn't any big background noise, and that can be hard, like things like dogs barking or helicopters flying over above or anything else, children in the background, because any distraction is going to take away from people being able to focus on your video. But again, I get that having a quiet household is a privilege. If you have kids, I know it's a privilege to have an absolutely quiet household. So you may need to experiment on other places to film, like booking a room in a library or some other sort of conference setting, or even filming the voiceover later in a quiet space like your car. However you need to do it, just make sure that you have some non-distracting audio when you upload your video. A couple rules of thumb while filming. 1, make sure to take a look at the video after you've finished filming each section, because sometimes you'll catch stuff that you didn't realize was there. Like your hair looks a mess, there's other weird things in frames like cups or socks or whatever the case may be, or maybe your audio was off, like your mic wasn't working or the phone wasn't working right. That way you don't film your entire course and then realize you only really captured half of it, or you didn't like how it turned out because of some random thing in the background. So I just suggest once you film it, look back, make sure it's exactly how you want it before moving on to the next lecture or section, however you feel you're going to block up those times. Another thing to keep in mind is back up your videos. So with an iPhone, if you run out of space, it'll stop recording. You may think that you're still recording, but when you go to actually in the recording, it won't save because you have no space in your phone. So my suggestion is once you're done filming a video, you generally like what it looks like, upload it to some sort of, external hard drive or your computer or whatever. So then that way you have a backup just in case anything happens to your phone, because best believe you're going to be very upset if you filmed your whole course and then you just lost that footage. So backing up your videos and then making sure to take a look is going to be super helpful. And one cool thing that Udemy does is they'll actually allow you to upload a test clip. So you can upload a test clip to Udemy. It'll analyze the clip to make sure the lighting's good, you sound good, the background's good. They'll give you suggestions on how to improve it before you move forward with filming the rest of your video. So that's what I did. Before I even filmed my entire video, I went to where I knew I wanted to set up. I was in my living room behind my desk, and I just did a basic test clip saying a couple words, and I uploaded it. And then within a few hours, they got back to me and said, these things look great, these don't, fix them and you'll be good to go. And then that was it. And then I knew going forward that if I filmed it in the exact same way that I did when they said it was good, then I was going to have a generally good video. You're officially halfway there. Now that you're done filming, the next step is editing. Now, editing is where you're going to polish up all of your videos. This is where you're going to put text on your videos or pictures or other videos, whatever you want. How you edit your video is really going to depend on what you like in a video and also what kind of course you're teaching. I've seen Udemy courses where it's literally just somebody sitting in a classroom, like just talking at the camera the whole time with nothing on the screen. And honestly, it was a good course. But I've also seen courses where people have like custom animations. You could tell somebody professionally edited it. That was great also. It's really going to depend on you and what you think helps your students learn better. Now, you do not need fancy software or to be a pro at editing to edit, because Lord knows I'm not that great at editing. All you need, like let's say you have a Mac. iMovie is pre-installed on a Mac. Like that is an editing software. You can use that to edit your full course and clip stuff and delete stuff and shorten videos and whatever that you need. I actually prefer to edit on my phone because I always have my phone with me. So I can edit on the go, I can edit when I'm at a restaurant, I can edit outside. It's just easier for me to do it on my phone. And I use an app called InShot, but there's a ton of editing apps out there. Now InShot's like $49.99 a year for the pro version, but there's also a free version. And it has everything you need to edit, like all of the basic editing tools. I don't like being overwhelmed when it comes to editing tools. So I found that InShot is like perfect for somebody who's a newbie and beginner, but also even if you want to do more like advanced stuff, it has that available as well. So I do highly recommend it if that's something that you are looking to use. Now the good thing about editing, this is where you get to clean up all of your mistakes. Let's say that the lighting was off. Adjust it. You were talking too low. Up the volume. You forgot to say something. Add some text in or a voiceover in later. Like this is where you get to clean up everything. I promise you, you can never make that big of a mistake that you can't edit. So don't worry, you will be able to polish it all up. In editing, you can start to get really creative with it. Like what I found is if I'm watching myself in a course and I'm like, this is starting to get a little boring. Like if I was a student, I would be bored. I'm like, let me add some like videos in the background or text or something that's going to re-engage people. Like you want people to be engaged, similar to how you would with a YouTube video. That is where editing comes in. So congratulations, you've officially made it to the last step of creating a Udemy course, and that is uploading, which is easily the easiest step of the whole process. You've already done the legwork. You've scripted, you've filmed, you've edited. Now you just need to upload it and make it public so everybody can enjoy it. So the good thing about it is by now you already have an outline, right? That has your section headers, that has your lecture headers. So you already know how it's going to flow. So when you go to Udemy and you go to the curriculum, what you're going to do is just fill in everything just like you did on your outline. You're going to write in your section, and then under each section, you're going to upload the videos of your lectures or add your quizzes or practice tests, however you're going to do it. You'll just give each of those lectures a title. You'll give each of them a description if you'd like to, and then you're going to upload the respective videos to those. Now, the good thing about Udemy is when you upload a video, you don't need to sit and wait to upload because it may take a few minutes depending on how big that video is. They'll send you an email later letting you know when it's fully uploaded. So go ahead and just upload the whole thing. One of the things that I really like about Udemy is under each lecture, you can actually link resources. So let's say that you're talking about a topic and there's an article about that topic that you really like, that you feel like would really help people better understand what you're talking about. You can link it in the lecture for people to be able to click on, and then it will take them to some sort of external page or PDF or whatever it is that you want people to then go back and reference. Please make sure that you do not forget that bonus lecture at the end. You'll have, it's the last section in the last lecture where you get to promote yourself and talk about your own business. If you're making a course, I guarantee there's other ways you want to connect with people and other resources for those people. Tell them about your Instagram, tell them about your YouTube, tell them about your blog, your business, your products, whatever it is. This is your moment to shine. Go ahead and make sure that you are uploading in that section with resources, etc. Once you're done uploading all of those videos, you're going to make the course landing page. Now, the course landing page is like the first thing you see when you go into a course, right? It's like what the title of the course is, you know, a couple paragraphs about what they're going to learn and why it's useful and yada, yada, yada. You're going to go ahead and just list all that out. So that way when somebody comes across that course, they know what to expect. The last thing you get to do is decide the pricing. So how much do you want to charge for your course? It's really up to you. And of course, how much value you think your course brings to people. And you can make it free if you'd like to, which is awesome. You can charge $9.99, $99.99, or $999. It doesn't matter, right? It just needs to make sense for your audience and for the course material that you are using. So go ahead and make sure that you do the pricing, and don't worry, you can change the pricing over time. Like if you're not stuck at one pricing tier, you can change it. Maybe it's too expensive and people aren't engaging with it, so you lower it, or maybe it's too low and you want to raise it. Either way, that is totally fine. Now, once you have all of that and you publish your course, it goes into review. So of course, Udemy's going to go in, they're going to make sure the course isn't crazy, make sure it follows all the guidelines, and then once it's ready and for public review, they're going to say, okay, good, the course is going to be public and you're officially out there. Now it's just up to you to promote your course, to market your course, so that way people can engage with it and watch it. And hopefully they learn a lot. You've gotten the opportunity to create something awesome, and maybe you get a little bit of coins from it as well. That's always a bonus. If you want to check out my course, just to see an example, feel free. It's always linked in the description. If you're interested in any of the equipment that I use to film my course, also linked in the description. But if you are currently a course creator, as in you have a course, whether it's on Udemy or something else, what advice would you give to people who are looking to create a course? And if you don't have a course yet, but you're interested in making one, what kind of questions do you have? Put them all in the comment section. I am super interested, and I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. If you're interested in seeing more videos about Udemy and how to market it and things to do and whatever, feel free to ask me, and maybe I will go ahead and create one. But anyways, thanks as always for watching my video. Catch you in the next one.